What are some scams everybody should be made aware of? If they say it's not a pyramid scheme, it is. If you have to pay to work there, you're a customer, not an employee. honorsociety.org. I got an email from them and it seemed legit since they had my name and school, but they want $50 to join, and according to them, I was being invited because academic achievements. Bullcrap, I did real bad that semester. Funny thing is, I didn't know it existed until I got an email from them today, and after which I proceeded to Google them and then write the story. Credit card scam. You get a call from someone claiming to be your credit card company. They say someone's been using your card. They have all your info and they tell you what it is. They have your name, address, credit card number, and maybe even the last 4 of your social security number. What they don't have is the 3-digit code on the back of your credit card, and that's what they're after. They ask you to verify it to check your identity. They'll say it's to check that you're still in possession of your credit card. You give it to them, and that's what they need to run up your credit card online. For everyone asking why they have your other data and not the 3-digit number, it's because businesses aren't allowed to store or keep it like your other info. Has anyone ever noticed that an online store might have your credit card number on file, but they still ask you for the CVV? That's why. We can't pay much right now, but if this project goes well, there'll be lots more work down the road. I've been in the freelance-ish design business for 14 years and never has more work down the road panned out when the client uses it as a hook to get an upfront discount. Stick to clients who can pay. Imagine if you went into a Subway and instead of offering you a 10th sandwich free after paying for 9, you said, "How about I pay you half price for the first sandwich, and then if I like it, I'll probably buy more sandwiches at full price down the road." A friend of mine just told me his daughter met someone at work and scored a $140K job a year as some project manager. She's currently a part-time cashier. Turns out it's a new social media startup and she won't get paid until after her first year of work. I tried to give some caution without sounding too cynical, but they were so damn excited. The main exception to this being a scam might be performance and acting type work, but even then, you need to be so careful and scope out the person you're working with, their credentials, and who else is on board. The narrator has been with both successful and failed projects before in his line of work. Basically, there's no such thing as too much information. The fake kidnapping and ransom scam that preys on the elderly. Someone called my in-laws-to-be early in the morning one day saying they'd kidnapped their son and his wife, we weren't even married at the time, in Mexico, and we wouldn't be released unless they wired over a crazy amount of money. They heard screaming in the background and a man shouting, "Dad, help me! Help me!" They looked on our Facebook page and saw that they'd checked us in at a Latin restaurant in Thailand where they knew we were, but thought, maybe they went to Mexico. So his parents flipped out and were about to pay before his eldest brother called me in the middle of our Thailand night to prove to them that we were alive. People should ask for answers to personal questions, attempt to contact the supposedly kidnapped, and other steps before falling for these pricks' BS. Usually when someone who contacts your house claiming to be someone from the government agency or Microsoft, it's just a lead up to a scam. Just always ask for some kind of identification, and sometimes Googling the phone number can lead you somewhere. I had a guy with a thick Indian accent call and say he was from Microsoft tech support, and he had an alert that claimed I had terrible viruses on my computer. I asked him who he worked for, and he said, Windows tech support. He wanted me to go on some website to download a program that would remotely connect him to my computer. The kicker is, the website he sent me to had a warning page that said, "There are scammers using this website to get your info. They're claiming to be from Windows or Microsoft." Your bank will never send people to your house to take your cards from you. I was visiting my grandma's house when she got scammed. Got a call about 9 p.m. from someone claiming to be the police. "Yes, your grandson was in a car accident while driving drunk. He's here at the police station, and this is his phone call. I'll put him on." Her grandson gets on the phone. "Grandma? Sorry, my voice sounds funny. I broke my nose in the wreck. I'm in jail. Can you pay my bail?" Grandma was hysterical. She didn't have the money to pay the bail they were asking for, and she was calling relatives left and right trying to pull some money together to get him out. In a last-ditch effort, she called her grandson's cell phone and he picked up, perfectly fine, wondering why she was calling so late. Needless to say, we called the police, but they couldn't trace the number. Disgusting how they took advantage of an old lady like that. I thought she'd have a heart attack. In short, don't pay anyone's bail unless you know they're in jail. There's a pyramid scheme that's been going around my area the last year or so. It's called World Ventures. basically disguises itself as a discount travel club. It's legal since they sell a tangible product, but the business itself is extremely shady and gets sued all the time. They usually prey on college students, stay-at-home moms, and returning veterans. Ugh, I work for a BMW dealership and have sold cars to these people. I've tried telling them it's a scam, but they won't listen. It pains me to know that they'll have to give up their cars in a few months when they no longer have people who will buy their discount travel packages. If you ever get stopped by a deaf person trying to sell you a pin for $3, 99% of the time, they're not deaf. One time I was in a Starbucks and a deaf guy walked around once passing out leaflets on how to sign basic letters, and then walked around again asking for money by tapping on you and putting out his hand. When he got to the girl right before me, she started to sign to him fluently, and he just gave her a thumbs up and walked out. My sister used to hang out with a lot of deaf people. I don't think she officially got her interpreter's license, but she was close. She got in the habit of carrying business cards with information about this group that helps getting jobs, plays in bowling leagues together, just generic, "Hey, we're deaf, come hang out with us" kind of group. Whenever she started signing and gave them a card, they quickly left. There was only one time where a girl took the card and started hanging out with them. I guess, like with everything, there are times where the scam isn't a scam, but the scammers ruin it for the few good people who are there. I work in a bank. Some scammers will test whether your card works by making a £5 donation to a charity, which can be done on ATMs. If this works, they'll slowly start to empty your account by buying vouchers from supermarkets. If you see a charitable donation you didn't make, investigate it immediately. Door-to-door magazine sales. While some of these are legitimate, I got scammed out of $40 to $50 about 7 years ago. A kid came up to my door. I saw there was a white van down the end of the street and about 10 to 15 kids getting out of it. This one particular kid stopped at my door, gave me a pitch about how they were selling magazines to build a fund that would send them all to college, and I thought to myself, why not help this kid out? The kid was about 16 or 17 and had an ID badge that said he worked for some charity or something, and he could offer me budget subscriptions. More than half off the price if I were to subscribe through the actual magazine's website. I signed up for Maxim, Muscle Mustangs, and Fast Fords, and 2 or 3 others. Never received those magazines. Talked to my neighbor down the street that signed up for one of them, and he never received this either. Watch your grannies. One with dementia here almost got taken for thousands from scammers in Jamaica. She was on her way to the mailbox but looked so sneaky the nursing home staff alerted her daughter, who put stop checks on everything, including checks that Granny had mailed the day before. A U-Haul reservation isn't reserving an actual vehicle for you, it's just putting you in their system as someone who wants a vehicle. And their reservation guarantee is a scam, since there's always a truck 2 states over you could use, but of course you'd have to pay for the extra mileage. Working in banking, I see this kind of crap a lot. If someone sends you a check that is more than it should be, and you have to send a portion back to them, stop! This is a scam. No legitimate business or individual does business this way. That check will bounce and you will be caught holding the bag. Somebody got a hold of our company name and account numbers to pull this scam on people. I had to field so many calls telling people not to do it. I had one lady accuse me of trying to scam her after I finally got annoyed and said, "I want you to explain to me exactly how I plan to scam you by asking you not to send money to a stranger." Most of us are delighted by the dream that the difficulty in our little lives might be alleviated by some sudden influx of money, and do away with little things like common sense. Don't be too hard on people, guys. If you're a male Westerner and you travel to Eastern Europe, a super common scam is that 2 very attractive girls introduce themselves and hang out with you for the day. It's a long con. They have some story about why they want someone to hang with, they'll have a meal with you, go to some tourist attractions, seriously spending a day. One of them will seem to have a personal interest in you. Then they suggest a place for drinks or food. The girls order for you, everything is fine. Then the bill comes and it's something insane like $1,500. If you can't pay it, bouncers appear and walk you to the nearest bank to help you withdraw as much as you can. It's become a common enough scam that just about every guidebook and hostel check-in will warn you. To clarify, yes, the restaurant or club is in on it. Yes, the girls are working with the club. Yes, the bouncers are working with the girls and the club. Yes, it's a scam and not a coincidence. The girls did not rack up a $1,500 bill to get the guys to pay for it. The girls collude with the bar to get the guys to agree to order a single $1,500 drink. The girls get paid a cut. Another common and shorter scheme that targets foreigners worldwide is the broken package scam. Essentially, they find some nice-looking but cheap and fragile art. Then they'll walk around with it in a bag looking for a timid-looking tourist, exchange student, or whatever. They'll then set it to bump into them, dropping the package, and then flying into a rage about how the tourist broke their $300 to $1,500 vase or whatever. Hi, do you have the time? Take out your phone and check. And mugged. I was at a baseball game for a work outing. I just got the Galaxy S3. I was in a secluded seating area by a hot dog stand, playing around on it instead of watching the game. This 11 to 13-year-old comes up and asks to borrow it. He had been separated from his parents. Nope, but I'll help you find a park employee to get you a phone. The second I found an employee, the kid went running. And my friends tease me for still wearing a watch. Who's laughing now? You can submit your own stories to be featured here on the channel. The story submission link is in the description below. And if you want to listen to some vibey music in the background, check out easymode, also linked below, and subscribe. The kids that come to your door selling magazine subscriptions are not trying to get money for college. Most of the time, those subscriptions are bullcrap, the kid is being taken advantage of by some butthole, and it's near slavery conditions. Don't support these buttholes. Do not cash someone's check for them at the ATM, no matter how distressed they seem. It will just bounce. The Florida government pulls out public service announcements that says this, paraphrased, if you want anyone to leave your house, even employees of a business, tell them. If they won't, call the cops and the cops will come out and make them leave. In other words, don't let anyone intimidate you, even if they're for real. I've heard of this one but haven't seen it. You're driving, say in the right lane, and a crappy-looking car gets in front of you while another crappy-looking car sits in your blind spot to your left side. The car in front slows down little by little until you're annoyed and possibly tailgating them, setting the trap. He then slams on the brakes and stops short, giving you either the choice of rear-ending him or swerving into his buddy. Either way, you hit a junker of a car and he asks for cash to not report it to the insurance. Ways to avoid? Don't tailgate. Pretty simple. Follow at a safe distance. If you do rear-end or swerve into the car, just report it to the insurance. A lot of the times, these people don't have insurance, and if they do, they might not see any of the money and their rates will go up either way. You'll still have to pay and your rates will go up, but at least the scammer didn't get off for free. They sell the hair they get for tens of millions, then only donate a few hundred wigs a year. If you have to buy anything other than a basic set of power tools before you can start your new job, it's a scam. I'm looking at you, pyramid schemes. ACN is a huge scam. $500 to join, only move up by getting people to join. You make all your money by bringing in suckers. You make next to nothing from selling their services. They prey on college kids that need quick money. Typical pyramid scheme. The big shots in the company pump all their money into nice cars to sell the illusion of money. A lot of them also drive obviously rented BMWs and Mercedes. They are scum. My mother never met a pyramid scam she didn't love. She tried to get me to sign up for this ACN garbage. She invited me and my brother over for dinner one night and wanted to introduce us to their new friends. We didn't even get more than 10 minutes into our visit and their friends wanted to sit us down and talk to us about a business venture we might be interested in. I stopped the guy about 2 minutes into his sales pitch and was like, "Are you kidding me? You brought us over here to try and sell us on a pyramid scheme?" I left. It actually did some harm to my relationship with my parents for a couple of months. When you go to other countries on vacation and you get on a tour, there are definitely places, especially in China, where you're intended to stop and have a look around. But at many of those places, they won't let you leave until you buy something. This is how these guys make money. Man, you could make an entire thread on China scams. I've been to China 3 times and dodging the scams was a ton of fun. If you won the Canadian lottery and you've never been to Canada or played the Canadian lottery, it's not real. I've had a couple of people come into the banks I've worked in thinking they won all this money and then get teed off when you give them the reality check that it's not real. And by reality check, do you mean telling them the situation or handing them a check from the register with the words, "You got scammed, sorry, eh?" written on it? You work in a bank, so either option is viable. If you're at uni, keep an eye out for VEMA, pyramid scheme that doesn't say it, aimed at students. The American one is vector marketing. They advertise for students to start at $15 an hour, so naturally a lot of kids are interested. It's door-to-door knife sales, and the $15 an hour is if your commission is at a certain level. They're calculating that number by taking your commission and dividing it by the number of hours you've worked. There's actually zero base pay. They claim that the knives sell themselves. Okay, my roommate in college sat through a 2-hour seminar from these guys. Vemma is in America now, and it's the biggest freaking scam I've ever seen. They're lying to college kids, brainwashing them into thinking that they can actually make money by selling this energy drink, Verve, to other people, so those people can try to sell it. They pitch it as starting your own business and tell them that if they end up moving X amount of product, we'll pay for you to finance your car, in which they give you $400 a month to use on whatever you want, but they pretty much plant the idea in your head that you need to get a Range Rover, Audi, BMW, etc., and have Vemma stickers covering it. But when the person you're flipping products to's business goes under because someone you were selling to can't afford it anymore, or any situation in which your network isn't meeting the quota to be eligible for the monthly stipend, they stop giving you that $400 a month that they've convinced you to use on a high-end car, and you're still responsible for the payments, with no income. I could go on for days, but basically this is a huge problem on college campuses and it doesn't get nearly enough attention. I've said it before and I'll say it again, LifeLock, complete crock of doo-doo. The owner likes to publish his social security number as a marketing gimmick as proof that his service works. It works so well that he's had his identity stolen 13 times. Check your credit card once a year for free. All major bureaus are required by law to offer this at a number of credit card checking websites. Report any discrepancies to the bureaus directly. Do not go to any of the credit report websites that require you to sign up for stuff. That is another complete scam. Don't buy stereo systems from guys in vans. Don't buy anything from guys in vans, unless it's your substance dealer. Not even ice cream? This will ruin my summer. The Polish or hot dog with a 20-ounce drink and one free refill at Costco food court for $1.50. Costco is getting scammed on this deal. I bought my first house last year, and I had at least one scam per week coming in the mail for the first couple of months. All of them looked very official, and as a first-time homebuyer, they kinda freaked me out. Luckily, Google Foo was strong, and I was able to do proper research to prevent me from being screwed. Former retail jewelry clerk here, jewelry has to be one of the biggest rip-offs by far. Jewelry is relatively cheap to make, especially things made with silver. At a store I used to work at, we were selling CZ and sterling silver rings that were purchased for $8 and were marked up to $160, but it was always on sale for 60% off. Then there's those diamond rings that literally have a diamond chip surrounded by a strategically cut piece of silver that gives it the illusion it's a bigger diamond, on sale for only $200. Then there's that white gold bullcrap. There's no such thing as white gold, it's just normal gold covered in rhodium that you have to get replaced every so often. If you like the look of white gold and don't have special allergies, just get silver and save yourself some money. Gold is probably marked up for at least 500% of the amount of what gold and diamonds are actually worth. Probably not as common, but I work in a pharmacy, so here's my 2 cents. Brand name doesn't mean better. There are basically only 3 medications of one class where it matters a bit more that you get brand over generic. They're Synthroid, Calmodin, and the epilepsy medication. It's not even that brand is better, it's just that since those drugs have a very narrow therapeutic range of effect, we want to make sure you stay stable and generics can vary slightly in potency. Since there's some confusion, there is no issue if you take generics of one of the ones listed here. They're just as effective, just that you don't want to switch back and forth from generic to brand. For any other medication, your body doesn't care if you take generic. There are exceptions if you're allergic to an inactive ingredient, but generally everyone is fine on a generic. There are always exceptions to the rule, of course, but the general rule of thumb is that you're going to be fine on a generic medication. Epileptic here, people always ask me why I don't take generic when I say my pills are expensive. This is why. I would rather pay than have a seizure. The biggest scam most of us will fall for is buying our college textbooks from your university store. Anytime anyone tries to sell you something unsolicited, whether it's in person, by mail, or digitally, just say no. There's no magic deal fairy that's looking out for your best needs that's going to fall from the sky and conveniently present you with something you want or need. The Who's Who books. I still cringe when I think about my mum falling for this one. They send you an offer to put you in a book as being someone that's worth something. You have to fill out the form they send you and then send it back to them with $50. And then in about a month, they send you a behemoth-sized book, which is basically just a list of people who've paid to be in said book. My mum has published a few books, so when she first got the offer to be in the Who's Who book, she thought it was a legitimate bit of recognition. We realized it was scammy a few months later when I got the same offer for having received my Bachelor of Arts. Your daughter was not referred to us as someone who might enjoy acting or modeling opportunities. We buy mailing lists. Of course, you'll come out anyway to one of the open call sessions to see what we're all about. We'll tell you we'll call you if your little girl is accepted to compete as a finalist. 100% guarantee she will be. Don't believe the bullcrap about processing applications. Then we just need you to pay us a sponsor fee so she can compete. Of course, if anything comes up and you have to take your daughter out of our pageant, you're screwed because sponsor fees are non-refundable in the fine print. But it's totally worth the steep fee to compete because your daughter is really beautiful. And we're not just saying that, and you could win part of $20,000 and… Okay, maybe I'm a little bit bitter. I guess it isn't technically a scam, but if people were less apt to get blinded by the dollar signs, my company would very likely be out of business, and I don't think I'd be very sad about that. When you're jobless and looking on Craigslist, I know, big red flag right there, but hey, you never know. Always grab post information during the phone call about location and job description and Google the crap out of them. I've been potentially scammed quite a few times. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, or if you want some vibey music to put on in the background, check out easymode. If you like Am I the Genius, give Am I the Jerk a shot. Everything linked in the description.